Welcome to The Clopen Effect, a retail podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us today. I'm your host, Meredith.
And I'm your host, Cass.
Let's have some fun.
There we go. Much better. My hair is probably super fucked up right now, though.
It's fine.
Insert fluffiness here.
It's fine.
I like how I say we're going to start talking and then we'll introduce you guys and they're already talking. So we might as well just introduce them.
Welcome.
What up, Drew and Mandy?
Drew and Mandy.
Hello, internet friends.
16 countries are listening to you right now. How does that feel?
That feels pretty crazy. Usually my 3.5-year-old doesn't even listen to me, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start off with a story real quick. I had a friend drop off some lotion. I buy some Avon from her.
Puts the
And
lotion
she
on
said,
its skin.
put the lotion on the skin.
Did you know they never said that in the movie?
Stop it.
Put the lotion in the
You
basket.
put the lotion in the basket. It doesn't. They don't say it puts the lotion on the skin.
We are like
Cass
30
is gonna
seconds
go
in,
home
I'm
and
already missing a reference.
Cass is going to go home and watch Silence of the Lambs.
It's like one of my favorite movies.
So anyways, we were talking and she said, we're totally messing with someone. He went on vacation for 2 weeks and she does the pickup and delivery.
Yeah.
So everyone's names are on the board and they're written, where you can erase them and stuff. So this a coworker went on vacation for 2 weeks and while he was gone, someone quit. So they took the one guy's name that quit off the board. So the one from vacation comes back and he was like, hey, where's Jeremy? And they're all like, who?
Who's
Like
Jeremy?
they're messing with him. Like, what do you mean, Jeremy? And he was like, well, I mean, his name was on the board, and they were like, I don't know what you're talking about.
know.
So, in other words, if you quit, they just wipe you from their board and from your memory.
That's
you know?
Banished
Yeah.
from being on the board. Of
And he was like,
names.
"Oh, I'm gonna go tell someone else. I'm gonna go ask somebody else." And she was like, "Go ahead." But they all know
They
that they're
all
like
know.
messing with him.
Why does
They
this feel
sent
like
out a
something
memo.
Dad would do?
That's 100%
Yeah.
is.
This is
But
totally
yeah.
something our dad would
That
do.
speaks volumes of the turnover rate that they just don't, they literally put it in
Right.
removable
Yeah,
ink.
that's
that
right.
works.
Pretty
Right.
sketchy.
Yeah.
like,
That's how it goes in retail. It's a revolving door.
And how dare anyone use a permanent marker? Because then they're screwed.
No amount of isopropyl alcohol will save your soul. None.
I was going to say magic eraser, maybe.
So for those that are
Scratch up the
listening,
board.
Drew has been on our show before.
Yes.
And he
the
says
any
he's
way
got
you
some
slice it.
notes and fun
Yes.
stuff for us. And then his sister Mandy's here she already has all her notes and it says podcast topics on it. I am so excited.
And it's on an
labeled
iPad.
the Clopen Effect.
Yeah.
Because it has to be labeled.
and she
Everything
told
needs
us that she
labeling.
listens.
very
so
fancy.
we like that she's here.
For
I
for
kinda-
every bit that I'm disorganized, she got all the
There
organizational
you go.
skills.
Sometimes OCD does have benefits.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
sometimes.
Rarely.
Sometimes.
My alphabet differs a bit from yours on those letters.
So we're gonna let
dyslexia.
Drew go first because I think he did some.
Yeah, so I did some research into this
God.
podcast. For those of you who are wondering, so now I'm going to break my rule because I didn't want to bring it up the first time I was here because by bringing it up, I would ruin it.
Yeah.
But y'all talk about poop a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of that running joke
do,
in
yeah.
here. So I went back and I re-listened to all of the first 20 episodes. I'd like to point out mine was a no. Now I'm ruining it to talk about this for you.
Oh, well, now your second one will be a
But
yes.
out of the first 20 episodes, you talked about poop in 11 of them.
That's some pretty good statistics. That's more than
51%.
50%.
And that is
Everybody
51%.
does it.
Yeah, that is strictly poop that we're talking about here. I
Yeah.
also made notes for the 2 episodes that you talked about farts as well. 1 episode of hemorrhoids and 1 episode of going to the gynecologist. So those are your current statistics for the first 20 episodes.
That is amazing. Thank
That's
you
hilarious.
so much. That's
I'm
amazing.
crying right now. That's hilarious.
So you are over 50 with this one now. I think that'll keep you above your
Yeah.
50%
Yeah.
poop
That sounds
ratio.
like
Gotta keep it
a
there.
retail
Yeah.
podcast.
I
doesn't
feel like
it?
this needs an infographic on your Instagram account. Like, have you heard? We talk about poop on half of our episodes.
We talk
We
about
are
a
a very
lot of poop.
accepting group here.
Yes.
Or it's all about poop with 50% off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good
You
You
marketing.
got to get that sales going, you know?
You
Yeah.
do. You do.
You're right, though.
Yeah.
So, Mandy, tell us all about you, please. Where have you been? What do you do?
I've done.
First of all, she's very, very cool looking. I'm just going to say that. She's got like the shaved
you.
sides and the cute ponytail. And yeah, so, okay. All right.
I
Go
also
ahead.
have copious amounts of tattoos that this hoodie
That's
is hiding right now.
amazing.
So I've been working since I was 14. I actually
Terrible.
lied about my age to get my first job.
Wow.
I used to work at a dry cleaners. And
The Irishy place?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, the one with the green thing. But I lied about my age to get the job. And it was funny because when I turned 16, obviously my friends were like, oh, like it's your 16th birthday, you know, whatever. They came into work and they were saying something about it. My boss is like, wait, you weren't 16 already? And I was like, you know, I turned 16 today. And he's like, oh, okay, whatever. And that's all there was to it. Like at the age of 14, I was literally in charge of locking up, depositing money, like doing all of those things.
Yeah.
And like, that's probably why I'm more successful now than a lot of people my age. But
Well, you had to grow up fast.
yeah,
Sounds like it.
So I went from there and I worked at that one store with the red thing.
Okay.
So I worked there for a while. I was a manager there, but I started there unloading the truck, which at that time I was like 100 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah.
So imagine little 100-pound me just tossing boxes casually out of a truck all aggressively.
Yeah.
Like it was super fun. I liked that, but they promoted me to electronics and then cosmetics. And then I really just ended up doing everything in the store. So at one point, I feel like I genuinely knew everything about that place that there was to know.
Yeah.
Wow.
How long did you work at the red place?
I was there for over 5 years.
Okay.
Wow.
So I was a manager for more than 4 of those years.
That's 5 more than I would.
I worked at 2 different stores, but it was funny because I started at the one that's close to here, or was close to here.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Dundee. So I was there at one point in time and then back out this way as well.
Yeah.
Are either of them still open?
No, they're
No.
both closed.
So for your first 3 jobs, 0 out of 3 are still open. Just to clarify.
No, to be technical, I went back to the other one. So technically 0 out of 4 because we were at one of them twice.
Do you have a struggling business? Hire my sister.
Well, it's funny.
will shut that
it's
shit
hilarious. For the longest time,
Sorry about the podcast.
my friends got like they would make fun of me so bad for it. They're like, "Oh, well, where are you working now? Because I'm gonna go when all of their stuff's cleared out because they're closing."
Oh my God.
And I'm like, "That's not how this works. I'm sorry, my luck is literally the
so
worst."
funny.
But like, here we are. Everything was closing.
Why did I not think of that joke?
But what's funny is after I left the red store, and I actually ended up quitting that to work in the restaurant industry.
And all those pharmacy stores are still open. So
Unfortunately, here we are.
You broke
There's
the
one on every
curse.
corner. You sneeze, you hit like 4 of them.
Oh, right, that one.
Yeah, I wasn't there
forgot
very
which one
long.
you worked for.
Well, it's because I wasn't there very long. That's probably why I didn't remember it. But
So
I went.
in total, how many jobs have you had? How long are we going to be
God.
sitting here?
So that was 3. And then 4 is because I left that one for the restaurant industry, and then I worked at 4 different bars. Plus the one place with wings. So that's 5 in the industry. See, I was smart and I thought of all these things prior because I knew if I had to think of it on the spot, I'd just freeze and say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is easy. I've got this. But I worked at all of those places and then I actually ended up leaving the last restaurant job I was at to come full circle back to retail.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
wow.
So
Okay.
it's a weird little world, but here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I always say you got to be special in your head or in your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or both.
Yeah. You got to be a little
I just
something of
enjoy
both.
people watching. And
Yeah.
I've genuinely chalked working retail and restaurant industry up to that because
Yeah.
you're getting paid
Yeah.
to watch people.
Yeah. I can
Now,
agree
are
with
you
on
someone that when a customer walks up and they're a little bit grouchy or crabby, do you are you nice to them or do you kind of put them in their place?
It kind of depends on the day and the person. So like
Yeah.
right now where I'm working at, I manage a small business. So there's only one of us working at a time. We have 1 day a week. We have an overlap shift because it's the busiest day of the week.
Yeah.
So it's just me there. And it's hilarious because you'll get those crappy people walk in and they're like, is there anybody else here?
Yeah.
And I'm like, does it look like there is anybody else here? Like, where do you think those doors go? Because one goes outside and the other one goes to the bathroom and there ain't nobody anywhere. So
Am I
you
not
got
enough
me.
for you?
Yeah.
Or like my favorite thing is they're like, can I speak to the manager? And I'll literally duck down and stand back up. I'm like, hi, I'm the manager. How
I've
can I help
always
you?
wanted to do that. Like turn around, like, ta-da. Hello, I am the manager.
My favorite thing to do is say, sure, I'll go get her. And I walk to the back, turn around and walk right back out. I'm
Oh
like,
my God.
how can I help you out?
Things we never got away with at the old job because we
I
wore
know.
different colors than you.
Yeah.
I
They
know.
knew. Yeah.
It's just different. I feel like that's one thing that really blows my mind from working retail before and then coming back now. It's completely different experience working
Yeah.
for a small business versus
Oh,
working
yeah.
for a big box
Big
store.
box,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Like
for
I
sure.
absolutely love my job now. Like yes, like any other job, it's gonna stress you out. But at the end of the day, I am so happy with where I work.
Yeah.
And how long have you been there?
2 years in August.
Oh, wow, good
so
for you.
It's been
That's
it's been
great.
a hot minute since we
And they're
we
not
started.
closed. Yay!
My boss appreciates that, I'm sure.
I have to say that I appreciate any restaurant or bars that I worked for were all family owned or, very small. And I never had to do, like, I'm going to say it, motherfucking Chili's, because we're boycotting Chili's right now.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Don't buy anything from
I
Chili's.
can't remember which.
Now I'm sad. I can't order It's Just Wings.
Yeah, exactly. Because
It's
they run
just
a
wings.
mother effing ghost
Ghost
kitchen,
kitchen.
and they don't pay their people anymore.
Oh,
Which
that's
is
right.
so
doing
sketchy.
twice the work. Yeah, there's a lot happening now.
The
Ever
Clopen
since the
Effect
pandemic.
Blacklist.
Yeah.
Now available on
Yeah.
YouTube and
Yeah.
Instagram.
The Closed Effect.
The closed
Oh
effect.
my god.
That's the name of this. We're closed.
Sorry, we're closed.
Though, speaking of the old episodes, though, now that I think about it, so I was listening to Miss Brianna's episode.
Yes.
Laughing
Hi,
just laughing so much.
Brianna.
Yes, hi Brianna. How are you?
Hi, Brianna.
My favorite part though was when usually it's Cass, where especially if you have a guest, like when Mystery Guest was online.
Yeah.
Not online, but on the podcast.
Yeah.
And you were like, "Who is it? I want to know who it is." And then you just hear the drums kick in. It's like they totally were talking smack
We
about
had to
that
have
person.
a private conversation at that point.
That's my favorite thing. It's like, "Oh my god, who is it?" They're like, "I can't tell you." And then all of a sudden, drums.
Cue the music.
But
Take a break.
So now I'm thinking about all the places that I worked at. I don't think any of them are closed. So, wow.
I'm just bad luck. Like, I will tell
None of
people
them are
all the
close
time. I'm
that
like,
I
I have
worked
the
at
worst
either.
luck in the world, and
Yeah.
I'm very sorry. However, this is life with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've been with your company now for 2 years, so that's good. But yeah, I don't think anything's closed
No.
by me. I mean, I guess I wouldn't know. Well, I worked
Some
at a
of them
high
were
school. I
like,
worked
yeah.
at I coached, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't think so. One was bought out, but now it's back by, it's back. I worked at Quill. Staples bought it, and now it's
Oh,
Quill again.
yeah.
It's office
Oh.
supplies, but
Yeah.
Staples is where? No, but I haven't seen a Staples.
I haven't
in
seen
so
it.
long.
Okay.
yeah, it's probably why they went back to being Quill.
That's
Probably.
because I never leave McHenry.
I mean, I feel that.
I mean, I do, but you know what I mean?
You
Like,
stay
if
in your bubble.
Yeah.
Like, you have a bubble. And
It's
that's
like,
where your
our
safe zone
Staples
is.
closed. They don't exist anymore.
Exactly.
Our Best Buy closed. Don't exist anymore.
What's a Circuit City?
That's been closed for
A long time. It's now Aldi and Petco.
That's like Venture. You guys are probably too young to remember Venture.
I remember Venture.
You remember Venture?
I'm too young, but I
Kinda
remember
looked like
Venture.
your shirt.
I
Those
know.
black and white stripes.
I know,
Yeah.
it's amazing. We were recording today. I had to put stripes on. We both have stripes on.
Oh my God, we do.
Yay!
Twinsies.
So when these companies closed,
Stop it.
were you still working there? Like, what's the conversation that happens when they say, "Hey, we all suck and we're closing. Go find a new job"?
So when the first location closed, I was still employed there. And they ended up doing me really dirty. And they wound up firing me falsely. They're like, "Oh, you missed too many days." I'm like, "I had doctor's notes. What are you doing?" And they're like, "Well, we're closing anyway. So do you want your vacation days paid off or what? Do you want the severance pay?" And I'm like, "The severance pay is like 56 cents, dude. Like, calm down.
Yeah,
I don't want your 56
I'd
cents."
have been like, give me both.
Yeah.
I was like, "What items from the back room can I take?" Like, that is the value that we are presenting here. Like, I
Mama
will
needs a new
gladly-
vacuum.
I was like, I'm like, that Wii looks real nice, man. I'll take that Wii.
Shit.
But I worked there, and that's how that one closed. And then the other location, I caught wind that there was a rumor they were closing. I was like, "Bye," and I
Yeah.
quit. So.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like the severance packages are absolutely horrible. I want to talk about that. They're miserable.
Talk about it.
So they don't pay you for like your pay rate 100% for your vacation days that you have left. It's like a percentage of it.
What?
Yeah, like they
Is it
totally-
because your time is accrued?
Yes.
Oh.
Oh.
So like they don't like I think when I left that store or when I was fired from that store, I had accumulated almost a month's worth of vacation. So I was like,
Oh
"Okay,
my
yeah, I'll
gosh.
take that." And then they
Yeah.
gave me a check for like $200. And I was like, "Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
definitely not what I
God.
made hourly."
Well, that's terrible.
That's terrible.
And it's honestly at the end of the day, it's the big box stores just trying to make their last dime.
Right.
Like they're trying
Right.
to. Well, I'm a business major now, so like it makes sense for me for the return on interest or whatever. And they want to make back what they're losing, or at least part of it, so it's not as big of a deficit.
well,
They want to
then
make back,
they
or the
should've-
owners do, so
They
that they
should have
can
ran their
keep their
business
fancy
a little
cars.
better.
Mhm.
and
I
they
mean,
wouldn't
Mr.
have to worry
Monopoly's
about it.
sitting up there on a bag of money, so like I don't know why they're worried about it.
Yeah. Interesting.
God forbid they give up their second yacht.
Oh, I know.
Because I've heard
Or
of
third.
restaurants where people just show up to go to work and the restaurant's closed.
I have a
Like
friend
they don't
that
even
actually
want.
had
Yeah,
that
I've
happen
heard,
during the pandemic.
Yeah. Well,
Like she called me. She was having a panic attack. She's like, I don't know what happened. Like I showed up for work. The door's locked. Like
Yeah.
there's no sign on the door. I tried to call my boss and he won't answer. And I called the restaurant and the line's dead.
Oh
I was
my
like,
God.
you guys probably closed.
Yeah. Our neighbor down here, I remember seeing her at another restaurant. I go, oh, didn't you used to work at, I don't remember what the place was called. And she goes, oh, we just showed up one day. We all showed up for like a 6 a.m. shift and it was closed,
What
dark.
the frick?
They locked it and said, sorry, we're closed.
I feel
So
like
that's
putting
pretty
a
dirty
note on the
too.
door would have at least been a little bit kinder.
Yeah.
Like, so you're not
How about a
wondering.
phone call?
They don't have feelings though, so like they're not gonna
I
make something make
know.
sense. Like
Yeah.
the least making sense.
So on the other
thing
side
is
of
a
that,
note.
I've heard that when you tell people, yeah, we're going to close in 2 weeks, they're gone. And then you
Yeah.
don't have anybody for those 2
Yeah.
weeks. So it's either you lock it up and tell them, well,
Right.
sorry, today's your last day.
Right.
Well, you don't even say sorry. You just lock it up. Or you don't have anybody for 2 weeks. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
suck
See-
it up and fucking work your ass off for those last 2 weeks and save your fucking
I mean, that's what I
restaurant.
would do while I was trying to
Well,
find
'cause
a
part of
job,
it
but I've
too
never
is-
been in the situation, so I don't know.
If there's multiple locations, like from the company that closed that I worked for, it was a retail location, so we had the option to transfer it to any other location that was
Yeah.
like nearby. The problem is like with positions like what I held, I made a lot more money than
Yeah.
those ones were willing
Yeah.
to pay me. So I was like,
Right.
bye.
Yeah.
I'm not taking a $3 an hour pay cut.
Yeah.
So what do you do at this job now?
I am a location manager. So I'm pretty much the head cheese at my location.
Okay.
Head
Okay.
cheese.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 3 of us, so that doesn't really say much. But I
Still
do
the
have
lead.
a ton of different responsibilities to do. We used to do our own orders. We don't do that anymore, I guess.
Is it just computer?
Yes, but no. So
Yeah.
ours is still very old school esque.
Yeah.
Like we have to use an Excel sheet. Like I had to
Oh,
do
wow.
another location's order today, which I was like, it was funny. I was on the phone with my coworker. I'm like, what numbers am I forgetting wrong?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, it's this one. I'm like, oh, I knew that.
Yeah.
But we carry like a very odd variety of products. So like you have to separate the orders. It's not just one order. So there's 3 different types of
I can
orders.
get that. Yeah. That's
So-
how it was at the gas station too.
And it's just like it's weird because like the tax levels are different and stuff, and like our shops are between a few different counties.
yeah.
So we get to play the which one does this go on?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And the products that you sell are some of the really heavily taxed ones too, aren't they?
Oh yeah, especially in Cook County, like it's horrible. Like
yeah,
we
Cook County. You
Crook
said it wrong.
County.
Yeah,
It's
Crook
Crook, yeah.
County.
I worked at Home Bar in Arlington Heights, and like they've redone everything, so
Yeah.
it's completely different from when I worked
Isn't that
there.
House of Music and Entertainment?
Yes, that was the formal name of it. It was the
Yeah,
House
yeah,
of Music
yeah.
and
Oh, I remember
Entertainment,
that.
aka as all of the ratchet.
You're impressed with me right now, aren't you?
All of us ratchets would call it just Home Bar. It was home. Where are you going? I'm going home. I'm going home.
Really, you're
place
going
It
for
was
Rob.
so
No.
bad. It was so bad.
It's closed now. It's something else.
No, they're still open, and they've just rebranded. Like,
Oh, that's
they're-
what it
like,
is.
they-
Okay,
it's not
okay.
House of Music and Entertainment. Like it's still labeled that way if you drive past it, but they've rebranded themselves
Okay.
to be a little different.
Yeah.
So,
Is there
my
still champagne all over the ceiling from when the Hawks won?
that was actually the
Probably.
Cubs,
Oh,
but
the
I'm sure
Cubs.
there probably is.
Yeah.
But when I worked there, it was crazy. So we always did like twice a year. There's this thing that's called Greek Night, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a performer from Greece comes in and performs for one night only.
Did you have togas?
No, we didn't have togas, but there was chairlifting, plate breaking,
Oh my
like
God.
copious amounts of toilet paper everywhere.
Oh
like,
my god.
and those were always the best shifts to work for the reason being that you made so much money.
really?
Like I remember walking away one time and I was like, what? And I was waitressing in the front, which is weird because the venue is in the back part. And my boss is like, well, I have nobody in the front, so I need you to do it. And I'm like, okie dokie, we're going to be slow, no big deal. Meanwhile, we end the night off and I made triple what the girls in the back made.
Really?
Wow.
It was insanity because there's one of me and there's 15, 20 of
Oh
them.
my God.
Did they make you
Yeah.
pay back a percentage of all the plates that were broken?
No. No, my boss literally.
Take note, Chili's.
No, he literally went out and he specifically bought like the cheapest plates he could find.
Oh
'cause
my
he knew
God.
it was
He
gonna
knew it was
happen.
going to happen.
Yeah.
That's
He knew it was
fantastic.
gonna happen. We did it twice a year, so he's like, "Okay, well, we just have a stash of crap plates we're gonna
Oh,
use.
that's
so
so
like
funny.
that one's got a crack in it. We're just gonna put it on the table."
Oh, that's
yeah,
so funny.
that's excellent.
But it was
That's
insane because like you have our venue would hold I think like 2,500 people.
Oh my
and
God,
there were
that's a
well
lot.
over that in the back every single time. Like
Holy
I've worked
smokes.
I've worked like a cool amount of different concerts too. Like I worked Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Ooh.
I worked, I believe I worked a Bret Michaels show. That was super weird.
I just saw that he's coming back around. I think.
Probably
Stop
at
it.
side outs. He's always at side outs.
Stop
But
it.
I've worked a bunch of really cool shows. Like I've gotten to interact with people I never would have had the chance before.
Yeah.
So like,
Wait, can we talk about him for a minute? Do you know that there's hair on his bandana because he's
Ew.
actually like balding?
Shut
they're like
the
extensions.
fuck
I'm sorry.
It's
Yes,
like a
thank
wig.
you.
It's like
Okay,
a wig,
It's a
or an
wig and
extension.
extensions on his bandana.
It's
I mean,
the same as the wrestler
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. He does the same thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Drew's like, no, not this, not again.
We loved Hulk Hogan when we were kids.
Oh, I loved him. Yeah.
And Randy
yeah.
Savage.
Oh my gosh.
We
loved
named
him.
our printer at work after
Macho
him.
Man
It's a
Randy
brother printer.
Savage. Snap into a Slim Jim.
I remember those commercials.
So before we started recording, you mentioned that you had a soon-to-be 4-year-old.
yes.
So how is that?
It's chaotic.
Being a young mom and working.
Oh,
And...
thank you for calling me young. I'm 30. I feel so old all
Oh
the
my gosh,
time.
we're the same age.
Just get the frick out of here.
No,
Get out.
it's super chaotic. It's very rewarding. However,
You're a bitch.
She was so polite too. She's like, high five. No, you're so polite.
Lies. Anyways,
Sorry, I'm so sorry, Mandy.
no,
Go ahead.
don't apologize. It's fine. So it's very chaotic. He'll be 4 in October, but like he goes to school while I'm at work, which is great because
That's
like he
nice.
has friends now. Instead of telling everybody that the cat is his best friend, Drew will tell you. You would ask this little boy, you're like, "Hey, who's your best friend?" And you go,
Papa.
"Oh, it's Papa," or he'd say, "Oh, it's the kitty."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I love you for saying that.
Aw.
Have you have to have more."
Does he
friends."
have to wear a mask?
Yeah, they still have to wear masks inside the school.
This is funny that you bring this up because I was just texting my friend this morning because I'm looking on social media. Hate social media. I don't even know why I go on there anymore. And there's parents on there saying, "Well, I'm not even going to let my kid go full-time kindergarten because they're not going to be able to wear a mask all day." I'm like, is that your kid telling you that, or are you
Right.
just making it a big
Right.
deal? So this is why
so,
I'm asking
So
you.
to interject,
Yeah.
like because he never had gone to school before, literally March,
Yeah.
April. I think it was April. And I was so concerned about it. I'm like, he hates wearing masks. He literally throws tantrums in the store for wearing them. Like, we specifically have not gone grocery shopping
Right.
So
together.
that he wouldn't have to
for
worry
months.
about it. Yeah.
Right, 'cause I'm
And
like,
plus
it's
just
not-
a little, it's a little bit
Right,
creepy, right?
right.
For a young one to see people
Yeah.
all covered up. I don't know.
He doesn't like when people have like their face covered either. Like, he's super sensitive to it that he gets like weirded out about it. And he'll be like, "Mommy, I don't like that. Like, it's
Yeah.
scary."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, "What's wrong? Like, it's okay."
So,
And he's
but how
like,
does he
"It's
do in
creepy."
school, though?
He literally leaves it on better than half his class.
See,
like, his teachers
kids
tell
are
me all the time.
resilient. They are
Well,
absolutely. I think it's the parents.
It is.
Well,
telling
part
them.
of it too, his teacher was telling me, and I 100% believe it, like, kids learn from other kids. So him seeing all these other kids wearing a mask and not throwing a fit about it, like,
It's like, oh, cool. Okay, this is what we're
he's
doing
like,
now.
"Oh, okay, that's the thing.
Yeah,
Let's just
yeah,
do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Mine's got a shark on it, guys. See, look,
Yeah.
rar."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
unlike adults, for kids, especially at his age, they really don't have enough memory to know any better.
Right.
So for a
Right.
lot of kids his age, almost actually about half his life, it's been the pandemic. So
Yeah,
he's used
true.
to
Yeah.
people wearing masks.
It's
It's just normal for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's weird as a parent too, like to have a little kid. I really hope he doesn't remember this because this is so weird. Like, I remember when we were kids, we literally got we were told, "Okay, come back when it's dark out."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like here, we live on this long road with like no traffic. Just meander and come back eventually.
So anyway, so he goes to school full time.
Yes, he goes to school during the day while I'm working, and then we have some time before bedtime at home. So like it's nice to have time with him at night, but I feel like as a parent, like it's hard for me because I want to spend more time with my child.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm happy he's being like able to socialize with kids his own age.
Yeah.
Like he's already gone to a birthday party, and he like this kid for 2.5 weeks is tomorrow her birthday party?
Yeah.
I'm like, "No, buddy, it's in like 2 weeks." And he's like, "Oh, okay." 10 minutes later, "But is our party tomorrow?"
Yeah.
No, bud, it's still 2 weeks away.
That's funny.
Oh.
I just saw a TikTok about that because some person was like, "I swear to God, if you tell my kid about a party next week, I'm gonna strangle you because I gotta listen to it every day."
Just tell him the morning of.
Like, yeah, you don't
Well-
tell him until that day. But him,
Okay,
he's
so
like,
I'm
"What?"
laughing in my
So-
head right now because we say that about our kids, like don't tell them till
Yeah.
the day of. But what happens when we plan a vacation?
know,
We
I
have
know.
countdown calendars.
I'm
We
not
have,
even
like,
exaggerating. I have a
text
countdown
messages
on
every
my phone for her
day.
to come in right
Yeah.
now. Like her and I text
like
between each other daily.
290 more days till Florida. You know, it's like.
I got this. I got this. I got this. This is
So
my
we're laughing
driving
that the kids
force.
do that, but we absolutely do that as
we do
adults
it
too. I was in my car a few weeks ago, and I was listening to our podcast because I like to listen to it a few times on Friday just in case there's anything that I want to edit out or whatever. And I answered you. She said something. I'm in the car just driving. I'm like, yeah, right. Oh, geez. I'm just listening to us.
Don't feel bad. I did the same thing. I was driving to Chicago in the morning, listening to the podcast.
Weirdos.
Because I'm bad. I listen on Monday,
we all
not on
talk
Friday.
to ourselves.
No, it's okay.
At least we're honest in a
And
minute.
I was driving to the city. I was listening to a podcast. It was one without a guest. It was just you and Cass. And then Cass called me for something. I think I had to call her because I had a question on where you were going. or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I think I just stopped talking because she's like, hello? I'm like, oh, right. This is a two-way conversation this time. I was just so used to listening. I'm like, all right, I need to respond.
I did. I called you. Yeah, I called you, I think.
So I'm very interested. You guys had a guest come in from Italy.
Yeah.
Can you?
I have no idea how that went.
I don't know.
We have heard
didn't
nothing.
see
You don't know how it went, but can you tell me all the prep work that goes into
Oh my
someone
God.
that
Jesus, I was in the
is a
same
billionaire
store
that comes
4
to look at
times.
his products that he owns? Please tell me all about it.
Okay. So generally when we go into a store, we have, we'll say on an average day, 10 things to do.
Right.
So this owner of this company is coming, so we want to impress him. So they send us to the same store for 3 or 4 days, sometimes more, to only work on that one thing. And it's like, it's done.
To be fair,
And
it's
now
You
you
have to make
immaculate
sure
now.
the tiles are
immac-
extra shiny.
Yeah.
If you'd like a milk carton, I have one in the back of my car now.
He does.
You can look at all the shit that's piled up in my car right
So,
now.
and how many SKUs are we talking? Like, how many times can you touch
well, it's
something
probably
and
about
look
30,
at the dates?
30
No.
SKUs.
So it's 30 SKUs.
No way. There's 30 just of cookies. You've got cookies, candies, crusts, and cones.
So we know
And
who
fruit
did their
snacks.
job and
Calm
who
down
didn't.
now.
All right.
Calm down.
Insert Drew, the overachiever.
You know,
here.
okay.
I
we'll
wasn't
say-
allowed to build displays. She did a better job and got displays, so I had to focus on the shelf.
It's probably the
Did
store
they
you're
not
at.
know how
Oh,
you
yeah.
built Lego
The
kits
cones,
as a child?
the cones you check once. Okay, those are good for like months and months and
It's
months. So
summer.
You just
No, mine actually kept selling. The cookies wouldn't move, but those cones were flying. I'm like, what the
My
hell? I
cones
just
were
filled that
fine.
yesterday.
Well, I had extra. I
Yeah,
had
I had-
top stock.
Oh, yeah. I had that
So
bad.
I just
had the
moved
bad
it down.
manager.
So
But,
okay, so
yeah.
do you stay at the store all day long? And
Yeah.
you just keep
Yeah.
circling
It's annoying.
to check
I just
all your
started doing
products.
other shit. I was like, okay,
yeah,
shit's
that's what I was
fine.
doing. I started touching other departments and then
Yeah.
just kind of rewalked it on the end of the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
But it was also because I know I texted you. I think I did the group text on this on Monday so yesterday when you're supposed to be here, and I'm like, I just built that blue. It's just a small blue box that's supposed to go in the check lane. 2 hours later, I walked by to put a tag on it, and somebody had fucking taken it down.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Was it
I'm
in
like,
the
it's been
compact
2
there?
hours.
Was it filled with product?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they
put
took the product
back
out.
to the shelf and
Yeah.
bailed the little thing. I'm like, there is
Oh.
one of them.
Yeah.
And someone's like, are you just going to put it back up? I go, no,
That-
I only had one.
Yeah.
That was
that
it.
would make me absolutely crazy
Yeah.
because there are so many things in stores that can be done, and that's the one thing that they picked.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But it must have been someone that knew plan,
Yep.
right? And said, "Oh, that wasn't on my
That
that
doesn't
wasn't on my
belong
plan."
there.
Yeah,
They
Yeah.
left the giant shipper and dairy, but they took that one down. Someone's like, oh, because they don't like things on check lane. I'm like, have you looked at your check lanes?
They also don't
There's
like
so
to
much
make
stuff.
sense. I realized
Yeah.
that working retail. If it makes sense,
It doesn't.
it's
work.
gotta go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The worst part is I know who did it because I saw them with it in their hand, and someone's like, well, did you say something? Like, her other hand had a hammer, so I didn't.
Oh my god.
Pick
I
your
don't know
battles.
why she was
Pick your
holding a
battles.
hammer, but she literally just had hammer and the small display. I'm like,
I ain't messing with her.
You're like,
it's already empty. I'm just gonna walk away
okay.
slowly.
Oh,
Hey,
that's
and go
too
ahead and
maybe
close
she
it.
used it as like an axe throwing thing in the back and was like throwing the hammer at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Creativity points.
I don't know. I still don't want to be the receiving end of that hammer, so I'm just like, okay, fine, whatever.
That's terrible.
So you had your 30 SKUs or
Yeah.
Yeah.
however many you're saying.
80.
Did the rest of the store get ready for this visit or
No.
not really?
because it was just that owner.
it
Yeah.
was just
It-
that
so we
owner.
it's
just
not-
had to
Okay.
make sure his shit looked good.
And it's not the company that the store worked. It's not the store
Right.
company.
Right.
If that was the case, that's vacuum the walls.
Yes.
That parking lot,
Yeah.
we're gonna repaint the lines.
Yeah.
It's this guy, and
And
I
it was
talked to-
actually you who represents
Yeah.
this company doing
Yeah.
it. It really wasn't the store doing anything
Right.
except for throwing out your displays.
And when I
Right.
talked to
Yeah.
the store director about it, like, hey, I know it's not to plan. Can I put up these displays for like 24 hours? And he's like, I'm not worried. I don't have to impress the guy. I don't
Yeah.
care what he thinks.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm like, that is a horrible answer for
Yeah.
a very, very rich guy walking in your store.
And so you
also-
never got to see him or meet him or
No.
see the entourage? Oh, is it
No.
cool?
Which
it is
was
so
so
cool.
because I thought you were there today, or you just weren't
I
there for that
was.
time of day.
Yeah.
Or was he late?
I went in, I did
They're
my
always
shit. I
late.
got there at 6 a.m.
Mm.
By 9 o'clock, I was like, I'm tired of walking around this
Yeah,
store.
you have to be very patient on days like
And
that.
another coworker and me had been in there for
Yeah.
the last 4 fucking days.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
yeah.
there's nothing to do here.
Yeah, even
Can
the
I move
extra
on
stuff
with
you
my
can't,
day?
Yeah.
I almost stopped today because when I was leaving the city, I'm like, oh, I can just leave a little early. I just wanted to stop and see the entourage, all the dog and pony that it is.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
almost went just to see it.
Yeah.
But I was running a little late taking down
I'm
all the
fairly
displays.
certain that they don't do a dog and pony. It's like that every day. It's
Oh,
their
yeah.
life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
But,
they
like,
pull
it's-
up with their Mercedes.
it's a dog and pony
they
from
have
the
the
store's
bodyguards, and which amazes me because if he just walked into the store,
Nobody would know who that
no
Nobody
one
knows
would
who
know.
Literally,
Well,
that would
I mean,
be-
I would know who
That'd
he
be
was
like,
because
what
I've done
would
the
you do?
research.
It's
but
like the what would you do show.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
That would be a more authentic, I think, reaction
Right.
and gauge of how your product's doing versus
We
like,
talk about
oh,
that all
hey,
the time.
We've got this big group
But-
of us
Yeah.
coming, man.
Yeah, we
To be
talk
fair,
about
though,
that all
I
the
don't
time.
know if he actually does that to know what his product looks like. I think he just doesn't know what's carried in what
I
stores.
have always
Yeah.
said I wanted to be that person that they said she's on her way and they clean the store for
You
me.
are
They
already.
always-
Come
on.
Oh shush, I am not. I am not.
Sick.
I
I
just
never
just
wanna
one
be
day,
that
just one day,
person.
just one day. I don't want people to work for me,
No.
obviously, but I just
No.
want to have that feeling where I walk in and people are like, "Oh, she's here.
No.
She's here. Make sure
Cruella
everything
DeVille
looks
is
good."
here.
Live to see the chaos
I
in
have a
their
wig.
eyes.
So now I'm going to ask Mandy real quick because you were talking about how the different bands come in. So we have some bands that bring in money, or
Yes.
right, or you have the Greek,
Like the Greek night. That is by far the most successful
So
one.
did the company do different things? Did you have to do different things for the higher, what do you call them? Like the ones that would bring in more money?
Yeah, so like there's different there's local bands, like those eventually like right before I ended up leaving there, the local bands would only play in the front. They wouldn't let them play in the back. They're like, you bring like 10 people so you can stay in the front.
Okay.
Right.
There's this tiny little
Okay.
stage, that's what you got.
Yeah.
But like they call them national acts for the bigger bands that make more money for the company, and like they get more things for free essentially. So like for example, like if Bone Thugs was there, they would have
Yeah.
food comped, they'd have drinks comped, they'd have they have the green room set up and things. They had their own personal bottle service girls,
Yeah.
which I did that at one point in time too, which that was insane. But like you have some of these smaller bands and they're kind of like, we'll pay for like $300 worth of food and drink for you. And, like the
Right.
rest is on you.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
And it's
gotcha.
funny you ask because the very first night I ever worked there, it was I think Saving Abel was playing, and I
Oh.
was so
I've heard of
oblivious.
that, but
like,
I
Yeah.
don't know who it is.
Yeah.
I was so nervous.
Well, they had
'cause-
some pretty decent people there.
Oh, they've had huge groups.
how big
there,
is that?
too.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but how big it like square footage wise? How many people does it
I'm
hold?
very bad at measurements. Drew will tell you that.
both are.
It holds at least 2,500 people.
That's
I
a
didn't
lot.
realize it was
So like
that
the bottle, like the
big.
booths
Yeah.
in the back, like it's crazy because the back room, like there's booths that go all the way around in like a U
Oh,
shape, and then
no
the stage is in the center.
kidding.
There's 2 big bars in the back, or there were,
and
I
they
don't know,
still
I haven't been
have
in
they
forever.
still have musicians coming.
Not in the back anymore. Not since they've
Oh.
rebranded. They have a stage in the front. They do different performers and stuff.
What do they do
on.
at the back? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Yeah. Wow.
No.
I've heard
Nobody
I've heard
knows.
rumors, but I'm not gonna say anything because like I don't know for sure. So I don't like to
Strip
speak on
joint.
false-
Okay.
I mean,
That was last episode you talked about that.
We did. We did talk about strippers.
We did.
In the
Mark
this or
it
that
down.
episode.
We got 2 in a row now of
2
strippers.
in a row of strippers. That's your
Um,
next count.
It's funny that
the stripper count.
what she has to do for bands and what you guys have to do for, Steven
Yeah.
Yeah.
has to help out at a fireworks show. He's been doing it for about 3 years, and he helps people park. And it's funny because you're going to a fireworks show in
Yeah.
a local town.
Yeah.
And there's a band playing, and he said so many people were like, "Well, I'm with the band. I should park over there." He goes, "You ain't on the list. Go that way." It's like, here's this
literally
little
like that
town.
too, though, because like we'd have security guards at the doors for the back, and they were like, "Oh, well, I'm with so and so," and they're like, "Your name's not on this list. You didn't buy VIP tickets, so you can buy a ticket now."
Yeah.
They're like, "But I
Yeah.
bought a ticket." They're like, "Where's your ticket?" "Well, I don't have it." Well, then
Well,
you need to buy another one if you want to get through the door, because that's
Go
how
through
this
the
works.
front door then.
What is the thought process of
I
that?
don't know. People just want shit for free.
Yeah.
But
Well,
Yeah.
not only
Assholes.
that too, but like when I worked there, like it was before you could scan phones for tickets because we didn't have a
Oh,
hand
yeah,
scanner for tickets.
yeah.
So like you could buy your tickets online, but it very, very clearly stated you must print this out and have a paper copy when you arrive. We will not accept phone copies.
Yeah.
Right, because it could be
We couldn't-
texted to a million
Right,
people,
and
right?
like all the paper copies, like it sounds ridiculous because we'd save them all during the night, and then at the end, like we'd just recycle them or whatever.
But it was just that something that
It's a
person had
physical
that you
proof
know that they
of
printed.
purchase,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
it's kind of like the movie theater ticket type.
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's
Steven said that some of the women would drink at the fireworks show. And what they did was they'd park you and then they would have the little carts, that would take you over to the fireworks show or to the band
like
in
the
the
little
back.
golf carts.
Yeah.
So he said he was, sort of. They were like, they would seat 10 people. So I'm assuming it's just like a limo, but a golf cart.
That's
And
awesome.
he said that the ladies would like drink and then they'd come back and be like, hey, cutie, how do I get back to my car? And he's like, well,
Use your
this,
key
this
fob.
limo golf cart right here can take you. Whoa, this is so fun. And he'd be like, it was here when you got here. All right, keep on moving. Like he just said it was just
Drew, why does
crazy.
it sound like you and I
Small
interacted?
town.
I can't
Like, it's
imagine
fine,
how
let's
many
go.
girls I went to high school with were
Oh,
talking
yeah.
to
He
Steven
sees some
like
of
that.
our friends. Yeah. Oh, what's up, cutie? He's like, keep it moving.
It's great.
Yeah.
I remember the
Companies
time.
that use Slack. What a great idea. If only I recommended
They're not
that to
So
you.
2
much
years
before.
ago, Drew said, right? It's been about 2 years. No, or was it? No, I think it was 2 years ago.
Because it was before the pandemic.
Yeah,
I
I'll
think,
have to look at our
least.
messages. And he said, check out this app. It's so great. And I'm trying to figure it out. And I'm like, Drew, I can't even figure this out.
And now
That's
you
what I
use
use
it.
it. Yeah, it's been
'Cause
like 3.5 months now
just-
of
it's
using
so
it.
It's a professional
easy.
standard at this
It
point.
is absolutely a professional standard, and it's just out in the public. And
We have a meeting tomorrow.
Yes, but in our meeting, we have to. No, we need the storage unit. That's the goal tomorrow.
The
at
goal
meeting,
is
the
to
storage
get all
Hey,
the
unit.
can I
shit
put
out
some
of my
stuff in the
car.
storage unit? Because I got some stuff too.
Actually, I was
still have
told
some?
I was told I'm supposed to try to leave some shit in your garage before I leave today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you were told that.
Who told you that?
I'm not
Take a
telling you.
guess. Wah, wah, wah. Yes! Yes!
Every time. I think I like green. Every
You
time.
like green.
Yeah.
Do the red one. What's the red one? Oh yeah, it's like Friends.
Yeah.
I feel like it's an episode of Friends.
And it's definitely not.
That is
that's-
just so cliche, cheesy
know.
sitcom.
It doesn't-
Yeah.
Ugh.
And that's
Yeah.
not this podcast.
uh-uh.
No.
What else is on your list?
Oh,
She's got this really fancy neon list. I love it.
And I
It's just
well,
on
when
the
we were-
notes
When
app.
we were prepping for this too, she was like, "Oh, so when you went to do yours, she was like, how long of a list did you have?" I'm like, "I just showed up."
Yeah.
Drew's like,
like,
you
before we
organize your
started,
thoughts. What's that?
Meredith was like, "All right, so I was thinking like we could talk about this, and then we could segue into this, and then we got to like half of the first one, and then an hour later, we're like, well, we should probably stop recording now."
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
That's
how it goes,
usually
though.
how it
It's so
goes.
fun, especially
Yeah.
with more people.
My sister and I are full-blooded siblings. We're not half siblings, not step siblings.
Contrary to me asking our dad literally every year on my birthday and on his birthday if he's sure he didn't swap me with a different child at the hospital on accident, I keep telling him, I'm my dad, I will love you no matter what. You will always be my dad. But am I somebody else's baby? Because I look nothing like any of you. Like, if you look at pictures of my family, like, I don't look
That's my
a
sister,
ton like
too.
my family.
Yeah.
I look so
Yeah.
different.
Looks are different, but also the personality, Like, but
Oh, who's older?
well,
I
she
am.
is.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
3 years
okay.
older than him.
But
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
you've got hair color differences. You have tattoos and piercings. I do not.
Drew has neither of
I
either.
love a lot of fried food. You have a much slimmer physique than I do. We very much
Hey,
look different.
I would like
As
to
she brought
say,
chicken nuggets.
I was
for-
going to say, I would like to say that
you
it's
didn't see what I
not-
had for dinner.
It's not that like I don't like those foods. It's my body hates those
Yeah.
foods. And I've
Yeah.
learned this
Yeah.
over time, like miserable all day.
And I
Yeah.
would like to say, welcome to your 30s.
It's
Yay.
great. I actually read something yesterday, and the reason why after you turn 30 you feel like shit every single day is your body's reminding you you're supposed to be dead.
I know. Yeah.
I was like, well, all right,
Yeah.
thanks for that. That's a little morbid.
So
but we love
she's
that.
entering her 30s and you're leaving them.
Shut up.
Where's the button? Where's the
Talk about
button?
it. Why do we have to talk about me? This is not about me. I'm not talking about
We
me.
had a
Hey,
whole
time
episode that was said happy
Is
birthday.
a construct.
Just remember, growing old is mandatory, but growing up is totally optional.
Oh,
Yeah,
I always
yeah.
say I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
Oh, stop. I hate when you
Yes, I
say
say that every
that.
day. I say that every day.
I usually
I want
say that
y'all
when I'm
around
pouring my
forever.
drink.
I also say old enough to know better, young enough to do it anyway.
Yeah.
My other favorite line is "Don't do anything I would do." Wait, who am I kidding? Do it anyway. Do it anyway. But no, so when
yeah.
he was working at
The
that
place we all
place-
met.
That place.
Yeah.
Yes, that
Okay.
place. So I had gone in. I don't remember. I don't think you were working. I think we had gone in
We
to
had
run an
gone in-
errand for Dad for like something for dinner.
Yeah, I think we're getting
Like we had to
groceries
get
for dinner
something
that
for
night.
dinner. And Drew and I go in, and he didn't have a car at the time, I don't think.
No.
So I drove us there, and we go in, and we're walking in the store together, and like this cart pusher just looks at Drew, and he's like, holy cow, is that your girlfriend?
Oh my
and I
God.
kid you not, it didn't even take me a half a second. I was like, ugh,
I was
that's my
already
brother.
holding her hands back so she wouldn't smack
Like,
him.
when he says that, it's not even an exaggeration because I have
She's
a
like, if I ever see
horrible
him again, I'm going to
tendency.
kick his ass. But I have to admit, it does let me mess with people sometimes. It's not retail related, but oh my God, was it fun to mess with people. Because I attend church regularly, but you don't. And
I love this story.
and so most people at church don't know I have a father and a sister. They think like it's just me and my mom. Like think my dad walked out on my mom or something, or that he's
He took
dead
me
or
with him.
something.
That's the secret. He
and
has a dad and a
The
sister,
virgin
but
birth,
My
too.
dad took me with him.
And I just never really talk about my sister because then they'll be like, oh, well, we're going to be. So
You should bring her to church with you. You'd rather I not.
Yeah, I'm like, we don't have enough insurance on fire protection
Well,
on
no,
that.
Drew.
one.
Have you ever told Meredith and Cass the story about
The
last
funeral with the boiling holy water?
Yes. That.
Stop
Have you guys
it.
heard that?
No.
So-
Oh, yeah, I'll let you tell it. It happened to you anyway.
So when our aunt had passed away, we had gone obviously to the church for the funeral, and we walk in, and I go over to the fountain for the holy water because born and raised the same way Drew was. So like I know how this works. I walk in, I use the holy water, do the cross, whatever, go light a candle, walk in, sit on the pew. So I walk in, and I go to touch the holy water. It stops running. My dad just laughs. We go over to the candles. I walk past the candles. They're all out. They all go
my
out as I
God,
walk past them.
stop
I'm
it.
the best part. I go and sit on the pew. The lights go out. My dad looks at me and he goes, "Hey, Satan, how's it feel to be home?" And I'm like, honestly,
I'm pretty sure you were running
I'm
a fever, too,
No,
by the
I
end
had
of the
hives.
funeral.
I physically had freaking hives all
Oh
over my
my
body, and I
God.
still to this day have no idea why the hell that's what happened.
Further
But
proving
for
how
that-
opposite we are, I have a key to the front door of that church.
And I don't go into churches. It's how this works.
You should probably try again.
I'd rather not, especially
Again,
with
I
the little
have
one
the
now.
key. We
so.
can just sneak in. Nobody will know. It's fine.
I mean, it's not sneaking in if you have a key.
Shh, it's sneaking in if the priest doesn't know about it. But so most people, long story short, most people at church don't know I have a sister. And so when your kid was born,
My kid.
Your kid.
well, because I don't want to say his name.
When the
Right,
child
right.
was birthed.
But anyways, so there was a Christmas where you would let me take the child to mass with me.
Yes.
And so I showed up to church on Christmas
With a
morning
baby Jesus.
with a 1-year-old child. And no one had any idea whatsoever the context of this story. Because I just showed up to church with a 1-year-old and they're like, Drew, is there something you're not
I
telling
don't even
everybody?
think he was one at the time. Or no, he was.
would've-
You're
it
right.
was
He was
just
right.
over once. It was
a
like
little over
14
one.
months, yeah.
Didn't you say you were going to church? Why is people so nosy?
Well,
It's
that's
none of
the
their
thing.
business over
And the
there.
thing is, when I'm at church,
should be
People are
praying.
very nosy.
I'm in a second
I was
floor
gonna say the
room
same
locked
thing.
behind a choir loft. So there's about, 20 feet of church that I walk through before I hit the staircase to go upstairs. And I was like, what's going on? They just see me holding this child. And I'm like, it is Christmas. We don't ask questions. We rejoice in the presence of the child.
It's this. This is the child. You hold him up like
would-
And
Simba.
everyone was just
I
staring
would
at
love
me.
to walk into church with a baby Jesus one
And my mom
time.
was just like, yeah, I'm a grandma. And they're all just staring at me. I'm like, I have a sister. Relax.
So it reminds me of how we all have a customer service voice.
Oh, yeah.
And I have legitimately had my boss look at me and tell me how disturbing it is, how different I sound.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know
Because
what you're
this is-
talking about. We never change the voices at all.
Well, I was
when we
gonna
work
say,
in
like, this is
retail.
this is like my normal voice. Obviously, I don't really alter it. There's no need to.
Right.
But when I have a customer come in, it's, "Hey, how's it going?
Oh, yeah.
How can I help you out today?"
I'd like to point
Yeah.
out, I really want to listen to this podcast back because when Meredith asked you what you did at your current job,
The customer service
your
voice
customer
turned on.
your customer service voice turned on when you said the name of your job position,
Yep.
and it was priceless.
This is
What's,
why.
what do you do at your job again?
I'm a location manager.
That's exactly what she did.
It's crumblier all over again now that you're thinking
Crumblier.
about it. You
I
can't do it.
There's only 4
Crumblier.
of us, but I'm the boss. I'm the location manager. All right, we're gonna do a sibling quiz.
Dun, dun, da, da, da.
We'll have some-
What does the winner get? I have to ask because I'm very confident I'll
You
win.
get
To
a
drive home.
reusable bag and a
I'm not
sticker.
driving
Some
your
stickers
I'm
and a
not driving your
cling
stick
and-
shift home. Do I get bragging rights? That's the important.
There you go.
part.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Bragging
And
rights
just
until
so,
we eventually
just
get
so
invited.
Cass knows, this isn't a Golden Girls quiz.
Okay.
Oh, I love Golden
Oh, I meant to
Girls.
text
This
you
is
that.
truly just a quiz
Whatever.
on
Thank
how
you
much
for
they know
being
about
I was
each
on
other.
Facebook
friend.
for lunch yesterday, and I just was going through Facebook, and it was
Stop
like
it. And it came up.
10 shady moments in the Golden Girls, 20 minutes later, into my lunch, I'm just still watching Golden Girls videos. They had a complete compilation of every Shady Pines reference. I'm like, this show is lit. Why am I not watching this?
I watch
more?
it
Don't you know
every
there's
morning.
a conspiracy theory that they were actually in the mafia?
Well, no, what it was is
Look it up on
No.
TikTok. Look it up on
the
TikTok.
Golden
It's-
Girls
I'm gonna check
were
it
It's so
out.
good.
4 Golden Girls. And so as they each died off, all of the power got transferred to the remaining ones.
Betty
That's
White.
why Betty White is now immortal. She
She's
received
the
all of
ultimate
the
Power
golden.
What did I just tell you last
You were
night?
like, when
The
Betty
mega
White
evolved
dies, I'm
form.
gonna have to take the day off.
I'm gonna have to take the day off,
She's a
because you
national
know that
treasure.
for a week or two they're gonna
Yeah.
have Golden Girls, and it's
Oh
gonna be
my
Golden
God,
Girls that we
absolutely.
haven't seen.
Yeah.
The
all the
episodes we have.
unreleased
Oh
behind the
my
scenes.
gosh,
Yeah.
absolutely!
It's gonna be all of her like blooper reels, and we're all gonna.
I'll have to
die
take
of
2 weeks
laughter.
off of work. That's it.
I mean, I
That's
can
it.
pretend to be a
Gotta clear
doctor.
the
I'll give you a
TiVo.
doctor's note to get out of work. It's fine.
Good
You can buy those
Lord.
online. Not that I said that.
Stop.
I'm literally called
Edit.
Dr. Drew by people. It's fine.
Edit.
Dr. Drugel. Dr. Drugel.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
No, but let's find out.
Okay. Who works harder? First of all,
Probably her.
I think that's a tie.
Well,
I would say that you work as hard as I do. I don't think that you work any less hard.
When I'm at work, sure, but in life in general, you definitely work harder outside of work as well. I mean, as we've talked about before, you are full-time boss, putting in way more hours than I even do in a week. Plus, you're a mother. Plus, you're a student. I can't sleep. I can't operate on less than about 6 hours of sleep,
I
and
get
to
3
you,
hours
that's
a
the whole
night.
week.
Yeah.
So I definitely say you.
Okay.
okay. Who's had more jobs?
Definitely
Me.
her. I've had 2.
All right.
If we count mowing lawns, I've had 3.
4, if you count. What was it you did? You were gonna do paper delivery, but it turned into something else.
I didn't do paper delivery because I didn't have a car.
No, it was when we were at Dad's.
You didn't have a wagon?
No, when we lived at Dad's, you had your bike.
Yeah, that's what they were saying, but I didn't have anywhere to hold it. So that's why I started mowing lawns instead.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Whose room or house is messier?
Mine.
Drew's.
Okay.
I'm
You've seen
compulsive
my
with
car,
cleaning.
Meredith.
That's why I was like, no contest.
Also,
Describe each other in 3 words.
You go
So
first.
for Drew, I would say clever, kind, and funny. Or
Good.
punny, I should say. Punny.
Punny,
Instead.
yes,
Punny,
punny.
not funny. He's very
Punny.
punny.
I'm mildly disappointed smartass was not one of those.
Well, that's under punny. I mean, like Grandpa always says, you'd rather be smart. You'd rather be a smart ass than a dumbass.
That took Shannon so long to get that joke.
Stop
She always like,
it.
you're such a smartass. I'm like, better than the alternative. It took her like 2 weeks to figure that one
Stop
out.
it.
Literally, and then I said it to her, and she's like, I finally figured out what you're talking about.
3 words, Drew.
Determined? What's the word I'm thinking of now?
I don't know. That's your job.
He's at a loss for words.
That is unusual.
Yeah,
You know
that
what's
is more
really,
typical.
what's really ironic is that was actually my Twitter handle back in the day.
But I'm gonna say determined. I can't really say persevering because that's still along the lines of determined. I gotta branch out. Definitely creative though, because you definitely got the creative talent. And loving.
Very
Like
good.
seeing you with
Very
your
good.
kid is just
Stop.
insane.
You're gonna make me.
What an emotional episode.
And Drew and I are proof that you can hate each other as children and be really
we
close
still hate each
as
other now
adults.
and love each other.
I
It's
mean,
fine.
literally, there's moments like Drew and I, like, there's been moments like we'll get into a fight about something, and like 20 minutes later, I call him. I'm like, "Where do you want to eat dinner at?"
Oh my god, that was growing
That's
up.
true
Whenever
siblings.
I'd always because I don't know why I was clearly a horribly unintelligent child, but I was always like I wanted to be in a restaurant and be like a chef in a restaurant.
What?
So when we were home for the summer, I'd literally like write out a menu and give it to her at the dining room table, and she'd pick what she wants and
I
go in the
love
kitchen and
that.
cook it and bring it out.
It was like ragu noodles.
It was
Easy
mac and cheese, like,
or
every
ramen.
Yeah, these weren't like
the ramen today. Do you have beef or
Circle
chicken?
what you want.
What is your sibling really bad at?
Drew's horrible at singing.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
I said
yeah,
it. I'm
horribly.
sorry.
That's fine. I can write it. I just can't sing
And
it.
what about Mandy?
Driving stick shift.
Thank you. I was hoping you were gonna say that.
The last time she tried, we were at the bottom of a hill in our neighborhood.
You weren't even there. It was
You're
me
right.
and Dad.
Oh, but he has not stopped with
Oh,
the
I know. My
story, 'cause
dad. My
he's so
dad
proud
laughed
of
so
me.
hard of this.
I've never owned an automatic in my life because I don't want her borrowing my car.
Rude. I don't need your car. I got mine.
How else are you getting home? But
Oh shit.
but
I'll
anyways,
give you a ride, Mandy.
yeah, she doesn't live that far. She's the other side of the lake from
Oh,
us.
perfect.
But go back to this quiz we're trying to do.
Oh, no, I'm done.
Oh.
That's it.
That was it?
Well, I mean,
Or
that
we're
was-
just out of time.
Yeah. No. Okay. Hold on.
Do one more.
This
I
was
one
like
fun.
more.
these. These are fun. I like these questions.
One more.
There's no winning.
Okay. What is the funnest memory you have together?
Ooh.
I think we might have the same one.
I don't think Drew has anything in his
Well,
Drew just like insert the
I'm
wind
kind of
blowing.
going through Rolodex of childhood here.
I would have to say my favorite memory of the two of us as kids was when we moved into Dad's house and we slid down the cardboard box down the stairs and slammed into the metal door. Epic. It was the best.
Who needs a sled when you have a refrigerator, cardboard box,
I think it was actually
a staircase,
I think it was
and
for
a
the
metal
couch.
door at the bottom? Was it the couch?
I think it was the couch. And Dad ended up opening, I think he ended up opening the door. And I think you and I went on the thing together and we ended up breaking the screen door. And my dad was like, how did that happen? And I was like, well, you opened the door and we weren't done sledding.
Yeah.
I think the only one that would compete with that is at the same house, but it was, my dad is very practical as well. And so he wanted to make sure we were trained in fire safety.
Oh my God.
And so it was, I think, literally 1 o'clock in the morning, and he just pounded on our doors to wake us up in the middle of the night. And I think you opened your door first. And you're like, what's going on? He's like, that lamp. And he had set up this little lamp in the hallway and said, that lamp is a fire. How are
I
you
think it
getting
even
out of the
had
house?
a red shade on
And
it
you were
too
just
for
like-
dramatic
I remember
effect.
this story.
And you were just like, ugh, shut the door and went back to bed.
I was like, it's fine. It's not a real fire.
He wanted you to like be prepared.
Yeah, so he literally
But you
woke
know
us
what?
up at
What's
1 in the
even
morning saying,
funnier-
that's a fire. How are you getting out of the house? Because the fire was in the hallway to get out the front door. So that was to teach us at 1 in the morning, you need to know that hallway's on fire. I'm jumping out my window.
Yeah.
Which in hindsight, I think my dad regrets because I snuck out my window in high school to do copious amounts of things. And like, it's funny because like as an adult talking to my dad about like things I did in high school, like he was a lot more aware than I thought he was.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Kind of like your mom with the bonfires.
Yeah.
Bree, the answer to your question from yours, the record number was 712 people in one day. Yes,
In the
I
deli.
did know.
In the
Yeah.
deli.
In the deli.
So for those of you who don't know the
Drugal.
context, go back and listen to Bree's episode again.
Frugal. You know, we really missed an opportunity calling her Brie Cheese. Because we talked about cheese a lot in that episode.
You guys did. Like I was
Yeah.
like pepper jack, American, white or yellow.
Yeah.
Oh,
a
I
lot.
don't
Crumblier.
usually make nicknames
There was
up
that
for
thing too, because
people.
when you were talking
Crumblier.
about
Yeah,
asking, where the deli person would ask you like 4 or 5 times how much you ordered.
Yeah.
Literally, I just forgot that often. And some of it is like if you go in the cooler, you're like, okay, I need Sara Lee ham, Sara Lee honey ham, Sara Lee honey ham. So I go in the cooler. That's all I'm thinking. I come out of the cooler. I'm like, crap. How much did they want though? I got the right
That's
ham,
called
but what do they want?
ADHD. That's a combination
And-
of goldfish, crow, and squirrel brain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
I
but
have
the other
that,
reason
too.
though too is when you're in the deli, you eavesdrop in all the conversations a lot because if my customer ordered Crockett's ham, because I'm eavesdropping, I know so did Bree's customer.
Yeah.
She's already slicing it, so I can ask my customer anything else I can cut for you. It's
Yeah.
going to be a weight on that.
Yeah.
So you're constantly listening to all the different conversations. Sure, my customer wanted half a pound, but Bree's customer wanted 3/4 of a pound, and I'm like, crap. Or
I see.
We've got the store on the North Shore that's really close to the lake, but in Chicago. You know what I'm talking about? I was standing at the counter today trying to get a deli salad to eat with my lunch because I brought my lunch, but I wanted a little something extra. So I got a deli salad to eat with it. And I'm standing there. There's 2 customers ahead of me. He helps the 2 customers. And then he starts chatting with his employee, and he's walking around. He takes his gloves off. He was checking emails on his phone. And I'm just standing there staring at him the entire time. And he finally looked at me. He's like, why are you standing there? I'm like, I'd like
do
a
you want,
half a pound
Drew?
of deli salad, please. He's like, oh, you wanted something? I'm like,
Why would he not
Like yes,
say
I work. I
anything
do work
anyways?
here, kind of, but I'm not gonna stand behind the counter and do it.
and like,
myself.
I
I
chatted
would've
with
just
that
done it
manager when
myself.
I'm in there, but he was just like, oh, you wanted something? I'm like,
Do you think when you work in stores, people treat you differently?
Yes.
Yes.
They do.
Yes.
Like in a good or bad way.
yes.
I think it
Bad.
can be both. It
could
can
be
definitely be
both.
both.
Bad.
Like it depends on like how I feel like it comes down to what do you do for them? Like what can you do
Right.
that will benefit
Some of
them?
them, yeah.
Yes.
And if it's like something that they know they're gonna have to kind of like schmooze you a little bit more, they're gonna treat you a little bit better because they know the payoff for them is gonna be better. However, if they really don't care, they're just gonna be like, okay, whatever, go, bye.
Yeah.
But that manager, though, I ordered a half a pound of salad. I got 0.93.
Oh my god.
See, Drew's the opposite of you guys. You're like, it's cool, it's over, it's whatever.
I
it's
didn't say
fine.
anything. I didn't notice till I was checking out. I'm like,
Always.
why does this cost so much? I'm like,
Always.
so I think he thought I said half a pound instead of half a pound, which is my fault.
I'll have a pound.
I'll have
Yeah.
a half a
Yeah.
pound.
It's just like the same reason you should never order. What was it? It's so I get salami cut really thick on occasion because I'll dice it up for like a pasta salad. And so I went into a store and I said I want 3/4-inch thick slices. So the guy cut me 1 3/4-inch thick slice.
Oh.
And I'm like, I can't even get mad because like, and one of the people in the deli saw him and she's like, no, you have to be doing this wrong. And she looked at me, she's like, sir, did you want it cut really, really thick? And I'm like, yeah, I'm cubing it up for salad. She's like, oh, okay. But I didn't notice because of the way his back was with the slicer. I couldn't actually see the blade.
It was super thick.
And so I got one 3/4-inch thick slice, and I'm like, that is not what I ordered. He goes, I have the measurement. He actually has a slide rule, which is fantastic in the deli. He set it to 3/4, so it was exactly a 3/4-inch thick slice. I used to keep one too. It's a great idea. And the guy that washed his gloves gave me that idea and literally gave me a slide rule. Because yes, I know that guy too.
Washing his gloves.
But so it was exactly a 3/4-inch slice. But I'm like, no. I wanted 3/4-inch thick slices.
Quantity 3.
Because he was like, so how many of these did you want?
Slice.
I'm like, 3. And I see the one slice. I'm like, no, stop.
You're like, I want that in 3 slices.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, it's fine. I got a knife at home. I'll just cut it. It's fine.
Yeah.
I honestly thought of the perfect story to end this off with. So it was when I worked at my first retail job. So after I got promoted to electronics, obviously for Black Friday, you're going to have a lot of stuff to do.
Black Friday's
so
awful.
it was an overnight. It was always an
of
overnight, so you
existence.
could reset all the things you needed to. So electronics, when you unload things for them, you actually have what's called the cage. So you put all your security items in the cage, it locks. You're the only one with the keys. You walk like on this certain pathway to get to the electronics department with the cage, so you're on camera at any possible moment. So I had to go in the back to backstock stuff, and it was very funny because apparently nobody noticed I had been MIA for 2 freaking hours. I fell asleep on the shelf in the back because it was 3:30 in the morning and I couldn't stay awake anymore. They locked me in there, not realizing I was in there because I didn't. I hadn't moved. I was asleep.
How have I never heard this story?
You have too. I came home and I was laughing really hard. And you're like, "What's so funny?" And I was like, "They locked me in the cage." And you're like, "What?" And I was like, "The lockup." I got locked in the lockup when I was backstocking because I sat on the shelf to take a break for a minute.
That might have been before I knew what a cage was, too.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I had the electronics backstock room, I had a locking door on it because there's security items in there. So I had sat on the shelf. I think I was literally grabbing a box to put something else in. And I ended up falling asleep sitting up because I was so tired. It's like I said, it was like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Witching hour.
The witching hour.
I was so exhausted. I hadn't slept before either because like Drew said, I function on slim to no sleep. So I was like, it's fine. I got this. I've got copious amounts of caffeine. This is fine. We got this. I fell asleep. They didn't hear me or see me in there because nobody thought to actually look and see if there's shoes sticking out of a shelf or something because that's not normal. They locked me in there. My boss is calling me on the walkie. My walkie had died, so I couldn't even wake up from the walkie. And he comes in, and I literally remember being woke up by having my shoe ripped off my foot. Oh. And he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I was like, "I needed a nap, man." And that is probably my absolute favorite retail experience working story is falling asleep in the electronic lockup. And they ended up they have to talk to you to make sure you weren't trying to steal anything. And I was like, no, I swear to God, I was just really fucking tired, dude.
I said, they can't fire you for falling asleep only if you intentionally make a bed and lay down.
Yeah.
Right. It was very apparent. The shelf was literally metal grates.
Yeah.
Nobody would pick that to be the place. Honestly,
wow, that's tired.
In hindsight, I probably should have accidentally fallen asleep on the ground that was cement because that probably would have been a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah. Wow.
Sure.
Well, obviously you weren't worried about it if you slept for a couple hours.
Yeah.
I don't.
it.
What was funny is I didn't even remember because I think at that time too I was working both my first job, that retail job, and then I was going to school too.
Oh my God.
So I'm the epitome of burning the candle at both ends.
Yeah.
It's constantly. It's what
and
else
you were
can I do to complicate my life?
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna have a baby.
Well, it's funny.
I'm just gonna put that right on
was
top.
years later.
I'm gonna have a baby Jesus, and my brother's gonna take him to church.
Yes. What's funny is because I ended up having my son, and I had left that retail company and I had been in the restaurant industry for about 3.5 years. And I actually had stepped away from the industry after my son was born to just be there for him. And I ended up working for a bigger bowling alley company that did bartending and things like that too, which honestly, working there was probably one of the most challenging jobs I've
Really?
ever
Was it
had.
at night?
I thought you were gonna say it was. The
I
funnest.
would literally work 4 days a week, and I would work probably 12 to 14-hour shifts on the weekends
Yeah,
because
because
there's
the whole time it was
parties.
open, you would be there.
Oh.
'Cause I was what was called a lane server. I also did bartending too, but you didn't make any money bartending there. You made
Yeah.
way more money doing the parties.
Yeah.
And I would literally work. I told my boss, I'm like, schedule me open and close Friday, on Saturdays.
Saturdays.
Well, Saturdays
yeah.
is the big birthday party day for kids. Think about
Yeah.
it. As a
Yeah.
parent, you're gonna schedule it on Saturday. Everybody's usually
Yeah.
free.
Yeah.
Friday nights were really good for parties as well.
Yeah.
But the holidays were absolutely batshit crazy.
Yeah.
We had people who would rent out the entire center.
Oh my god.
I was like, hi, how much money do you have? And that
Yeah.
you're that bored with
That's
it.
what our family does. We did that for years. We went on for New Year's. We went bowling when the kids. So there was
You
always
rented out the whole alley though?
nah. We just
No, I'm
we
talking
just
the whole
rented
alley was
one.
rented out. And the gaming center, all of it.
I'm not that billionaire coming from
Yeah,
Italy.
okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just rent out.
Well,
the
you're the
one
host of a
lane.
famous podcast. I
Yeah,
don't know.
true.
16
but
countries.
yeah.
maybe
Yeah,
one
right?
day. Maybe one day we'll.
But
be
we
able
used to do
rent
that
out
for
the
New
whole
Year's
thing.
because there's parties and there's fun stuff to do with little kids during New Year's.
Yeah.
And then you have the teenagers that there is truly nothing to
Nothing
do.
to do.
Yeah.
And then you have 21 and older.
Yeah.
And a bowling
So-
alley is perfect.
and a
for
bowling
all
alley
those
is
crowds.
perfect.
There's
Bowling is so
alcohol,
much fun.
There's arcades.
Yeah,
There's
it's
bowling
perfect.
balls.
Cass,
Yeah.
I went bowling last Friday, and I shall have you know, I was specifically talking about you with my friend while I was bowling.
Did you eat pizza?
I absolutely ate pizza.
I just want to say too, before the podcast is over, I take personal offense to the fact that you guys are how does your employer show appreciation for you and what kind of pizza is it? I have never gotten a pizza party in my entire life for anybody I've worked for.
That's
So if my sister's boss is
ridiculous.
listening, buy her a pizza.
That's
no.
Is it because they couldn't
ridiculous.
afford it because they're all
No,
closed?
I mean in hindsight, possibly.
I
but
mean,
Thanks
didn't
for
get any
working
from
with
them?
us. We
I-
give you unemployment.
I 100. I mean, I did work at an actual pizza place, but it's funny because we never got actual pizza parties for any of the jobs I've
so
had.
the
though.
hell?
what have you gotten? What have you received for being a great worker and being a lead?
A pink
So
slip.
this is what's absolutely hilarious, and I still have them because I refuse to get rid of them because it's that hilariously embarrassing. So when I worked for that one red company, I have a literal plaque with my name on it that says for outstanding service.
Yep.
And then I got their little mascot stuffed animal.
Yeah.
And I still have both of them. And to this day, I intend when I buy my own house, I'm going to put that bitch on the wall somewhere. And I'm going to throw darts at it all day long. I'm like, nope.
would you
anymore.
want an award or would you want pizza?
I want pizza.
Pizza.
Yeah, pizza over an award.
Pizza
Yeah.
pizza holds a forte in my heart. That's
Yeah.
actually one of my next
I
tattoos
think
I have
just
planned is a slice
food's
of pizza
good.
with heart.
Food's
Pizza
good.
and cake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
But
sure.
it's got to be ice cream cake with the cookie crumbles.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm down.
I'm bougie.
I'm
So-
down.
So just remember, due to COVID-19 and social distancing requirements, only one person can cry in the freezer at any point in time.
Yes. Dude, I have some
That was
good
my
memories in
favorite
those
meme.
walk-in
We're all
coolers.
vaccinated now. We can go in there and cry together.
But didn't you see that on Facebook when the pandemic first started?
Oh,
Social
yeah.
distancing, only one of
Yeah.
you can cry in the walk-in at a time.
Yeah.
That's
You've
so
never
funny.
truly cried in a walk-in until you're trying to tap a keg and it's not tapping,
Oh,
or you get
God.
sprayed in the face with beer.
I've done that. So
That's a
many
whole nother
times,
type of
too.
crying in the cooler.
I
Jeez.
forgot about that.
Yeah, I was
don't
figuring if my
miss
sister
that at
came
all.
with her bartending and restaurant would kind of bring back
That's
repressed memories from you.
PTSD. Yeah, getting
You've
squirt
it's,
in the
again
welcome.
with the
face.
trauma response, you've just blocked it out of
Yeah,
your brain
I did.
forever.
I did.
Well, I'm so
Sorry.
happy that you
Yeah.
guys came on.
This was
tonight.
a
Thank you
ton
for
of fun.
having
So
us. This
fun.
was awesome.
So fun. Thank you
And
so much.
record-breaking. Woo!
And you guys
I am
popped
so
my
proud of myself
podcast
for that
cherry. I've never been on a podcast before.
Oh, I hope you enjoyed it.
I did. It was great.
Good. This was so fun.
It was.
Yeah.
Okay.
So thanks everybody for listening.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, bye.
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 This podcast is brought to you by NameTag Productions, LLC. Entire podcast, unless otherwise stated, written by the hosts. Drums, written and performed by my son Steven. The Clopen Effect, a retail podcast. If we have to be all in this together, we might as well make it fun.